Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 3 of Retribution, and that can only mean one thing. It is the first ever No Limits Wrestling 2-ring steel cage War Games matchup. Randy Orton's team goes up against Batista's team, and this is going to be historic. But first of all, we're going to give you a rundown of the rules. We're going to start off. The match begins with one member of each team entering the cage. After 4 minutes, a member from one of the teams enters the cage, and that will be determined by the winner of a coin toss. And after 2 minutes, a member from the other team enters the cage to even the odds. An entrance will alternate between teams every 2 minutes. And once all 8 men have entered the cage, the match beyond begins. And this is where both teams will brawl in the cage until a member of either team either submits or surrenders. There are no pinfalls, there are no countouts, and there are no disqualifications. The only way to win is by submit or surrender in the 2-ring steel cage War Games matchup. It is going to be historic, and we are set up at ringside for what is sure to be one hell of a matchup. And there you see the first sighting of the War Games cage. It is massive. It is bigger than Hell in a Cell. It's bigger than Steel Cage. It's bigger than this Elimination Chamber even. This is the War Games cage that 8 men will eventually step into here this evening. This is going to be a brutal fight, nothing more. It's going to be a brawl between 2 teams that literally hate each other. And it seems as though we saw earlier tonight on Metal both teams conferring in the back, going over strategies, and it looks as if Y2J Chris Jericho is going to be the first one to enter the cage for Team Batista. He is a cocky, arrogant man from Winnipeg. However, as he stares at that cage, he knows he's going to be the first ever man to enter it. It must be so intimidating to see something like this that's going to tear apart your body. It's going to make you bleed. It's going to take years off of your career. It may even end it. But as Chris Jericho looks at the space, there's not a lot of it. There's a roof over the top of this cage. That is what makes it unique. And Chris Jericho in the ring, but the man that's going to oppose him first just happens to be the team captain for his team, Randy Orton. Orton enters this cage knowing the only man he really wants to get his hands on is Batista. That is why this matchup was settled. This is why this matchup was made. Randy Orton's hatred of Batista, Batista's jealousy of Randy Orton, culminating in a number of attacks over the past couple of months, which mean that Randy Orton brings his best team against Batista's best team. And that is how the War Games matchup came to be right now. Randy Orton looks into the eyes of Chris Jericho, and they know that this is going to be brutal as they lock up. And this is going to be the first 4-minute period here. 4 minutes, these guys will lock up, and as they're doing right now, you see Chris Jericho, brutal punches there to the face of Randy Orton. But Orton with a slap to Jericho, putting him in his place. And here's a clothesline by Randy Orton, and if both men, well, if you're on the opposing side of the offense, you'd want to stay away from that steel that surrounds the 2 rings here. And oh my goodness, look at Randy Orton. Randy Orton has him held straight into the steel, and the power slam right there. Randy Orton knows he's in control right now. There is the knee drop and the headlock, and Randy Orton is used to being in high-profile situations, high-profile brutal matches, as you see there, driving Jericho's face straight into the wall of the cell, the wall of the cage, and now grating his face against it. And Randy Orton is just a viper. He is vicious. He will strike at any time. And there you see, going straight into the cage wall again. Jericho's head bouncing off the steel, and Randy Orton feels he's in control in this first time period, but instead gets hung up in the ropes, and Jericho had that one scouted, and now where is he going? Orton hung up on both ropes, and with the advantage of 2 rings, there is more space for each team, because there's going to be 8 guys altogether in the end of it. as Randy Orton's head bounced off of those steel posts, both together, and that's pretty dangerous right there, and a net breaker by Chris Jericho. And remember, until all 8 men have entered, there can be no submissions or surrenders. It's only after everyone has entered as Randy Orton is brought back down with the suplex, and Chris Jericho is in control. However, Randy Orton trying to get to his feet, and you don't want to concede a lot of attack early on, because otherwise you will pay for it later on, as he's doing right now. Jericho speared to the mat, and Randy Orton now, the instincts kick in, and he knows he's got to get back into this fast. They're going to be in this for over 20 minutes, assured they will be in this for over 20 minutes, and it's surprising that Randy Orton has chosen himself to go in first in the War Games. Is that ego perhaps? We won't know. Only Randy Orton knows, but there's a vicious uppercut. We're seeing why Randy Orton chose himself first. He's delivering the goods, but not at the moment. Elbow misses, and Chris Jericho now, is he going to go for the lion salt? But Randy Orton has the knees up. Orton had the knees up, and Jericho, stomach first into those knees. And now, Orton about to strike, but Jericho face first into the turnbuckle, and then the backbreaker by Randy Orton. As more men enter this matchup, the more dangerous it's going to get, and the winner of the coin toss will have the handicap advantage, as Randy Orton tried to go for the RKO, sent into the cage, and now Jericho, with a back body drop straight into the steel. Orton flipping Jericho in mid-air, and back first into the hard steel cage wall. The wall of this cage, it is unforgiving. Randy Orton made Jericho experience that firsthand, and it's 8 seconds until the first man will enter the War Games cage. But who won the coin toss? That's the question. And it was Batista's team that won the coin toss. And Alberto Del Rio, the Intercontinental Champion, is the next to enter this match. So it looks as if Batista's team is going to have the handicap advantage for this matchup, and that is going to prove very important during the later stages of this matchup. And a low blow by Jericho, and that was cheap. But win by any means necessary. That was the feeling he got from Batista earlier tonight. Win by any means necessary, and that's exactly what they're doing. Randy Orton trying to get to his feet, but a drop kick by Del Rio straight into that cage wall again. Del Rio, the freshest man in this matchup, going straight after Randy Orton yet again. But Orton sent off of the cage wall, and a slap to the chest. Del Rio going to use his MMA background very well in this cage. Randy Orton helpless at the moment, and a kick to the skull. Jericho and Alberto Del Rio may not like each other, but then again, the common enemy is Randy Orton's team, and they know that, and they're going to work together right now. Orton sent head first into the steel cage, and Jericho just going to make him feel dizzy. And the backbreaker by Jericho. He's on the floor, he's on the mat, and he seems helpless at the moment, and we haven't even got really started yet. There are only 3 men in this matchup, 5 more to go. Randy Orton seems to be in trouble. Clothesline to the outside, well, not the outside, between the 2 rings. Jericho looks at Orton, and look at this, the cross arm breaker, and is going to weaken him so early on. Really going to go to work on that arm. Randy Orton knows that he's got to get out of this, because he could break the arm before he even surrenders, and he can't surrender yet. They're helpless at the moment. Still going over strategy is Del Rio, but Randy Orton has to get back into this. But then again, 10 seconds, and one of Randy Orton's teammates will enter this matchup. But Jericho and Del Rio in control for the moment, but how long for? Because Benoit is the next to enter the War Games. Chris Benoit. Brutal. The headbutts, the flying headbutts. The wrestling background. Matt's style and the viciousness that he possesses is going to do wonders inside this steel cage, and they lock up with Jericho. Benoit now all over Jericho right now in a flurry of offense. I can see Del Rio over in the other side of the ring. Whoa, and there's a massive headbutt. And what is Benoit thinking now? Sunset flip, and Jericho on the other side of the ring. Benoit making an immediate impact and perhaps saving Randy Orton's team's chances. Now the odds have been evened, and we've got to wait another 2 minutes for another man to enter. There is the headbutt, the diving headbutt off the top rope. And they see on the other side of the ring Del Rio trying to stay away from Benoit, just going to go and work some more damage onto Randy Orton. Jericho placed in the corner. And the lifelessness of him right now. You see that insecurity beautifully executed. As Del Rio lets go of the hold on Randy Orton, but Benoit travelling to another ring, going to the other side, and now going to go after Del Rio. Driving his shoulder into the gut of Del Rio, into the corner, and now slams him down. Alberto Del Rio in trouble for the moment. Benoit signalling that he's going to do some major damage. There is a clothesline by Benoit to Alberto Del Rio, trying to get up, and now Benoit directing traffic, going to team up with Randy Orton, sends him into the elbow. Del Rio now is the one in trouble, and the tables have turned momentarily, high and low. Benoit taking out the legs, Randy Orton taking out the head, and now 10 seconds until a member of Batista's team can probably save Del Rio and Jericho. 2 seconds, who is it? And here he comes, the team captain, and business has just picked up. The Animal Batista is going to be the next one to enter. And immediately you see in the cage, Randy Orton has ran to ring number 1 to confront Batista. Batista, the man that's been brutally assaulting Randy Orton for months, and Orton saying, bring it, but a spear to Randy Orton. Batista making his presence felt immediately against Randy Orton, and now Benoit going to try and help, but gets clothesline for his troubles. The Animal now, his team have the 3-on-2 advantage, and Randy Orton sent straight into the steel. Chopped straight into the steel, but Benoit trying to sneak up on him on the top rope, but Batista having none of it, chasing him up there, and that is a precarious position to be in, especially in a steel cage, and a belly-to-back suplex from the top rope. What a move. Just throwing him halfway across the ring, as if he weighed nothing, as if he was weightless. Batista getting cocky, but you can't blame him right now. Look at the power displayed right here with a belly-to-back suplex right from the top rope. And now again, picking up Randy Orton as if he was a rag doll, sending him into the cage wall and the power slam. Randy Orton has taken brutal punishment since this match began, and Batista is just going to continue to work on it. Randy Orton momentarily safe, but not for long. Latches onto the arm, and Del Rio comes colliding with that arm. There's certainly enough ego on that team, as Benoit sends Batista's head into that exposed turnbuckle. And now he's going straight to the top rope, very quick, but you have to be to catch out Batista, the double axe handle from the top. I would imagine that Benoit would want to beat down Batista after last episode, but nevertheless, look at Jericho and Del Rio teaming up now. They have the handicap advantage, but there's going to be another man to enter for Randy Orton's team right now, but who is it? And here comes the 7-foot-tall, 400-pound giant, The Big Show. He is going to make a huge difference, no pun intended, into this matchup. And The Big Show was defeated by Batista on Metal on Christmas Day, but this past week got the pin on Batista in the 8-man tag team match and sends him into the steel cage. Benoit and The Big Show share a look, and I think so are Del Rio and Jericho. The heads colliding together thanks to The Big Show. and the power, both men sent into the cage wall. Oh, Del Rio dragged away. Randy Orton now, power bomb to Alberto Del Rio. And you see now, their team has been given a major boost in confidence. Jericho in trouble and catapulted into the cage wall. Jeez. You see the intensity in the eyes of all the men on this team. Big Show, oh jeez, he's busted open. Blood pouring from the eye of Jericho and chokeslam to the mat. That blood is seeping from the eye, and that may need some serious medical attention after this match is done. Now that the odds have been evened, Big Show can cause rampage, crushes Del Rio against the cage and the big frying pan like hand across the chest, and you see Benoit asserting his dominance over that side. And it seems as though Randy Orton's team is once again in control. Jericho sent off the cage wall and sent right back down. That eye is swelling shut fast, but 500 pounds crushing on the sternum of Jericho. We knew it would be bloody. I don't think we anticipated how it would be so, but there's the German suplex, wonderfully executed by Chris Benoit. And now 5 seconds until the next man enters, and we know who that's going to be. The last man left on Batista's team. Big Daddy Cool, 300 pounds, Kevin Nash. He is going to go after everyone in this match. That is why he was left till last. Batista obviously felt he can make a major difference if he entered at this point. But the door slammed shut in his face by Benoit. Not going well for the moment, but all that did was anger the beast and slam down to the mat. Wow. The power of Nash, and now he's going to assert his dominance now. Goes straight after the 7-foot Big Show and lifting him up like he was a cruiserweight. You see, now they're in control. Now it's always the team who has the advantage that get the confidence boost, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Big Show's face held straight into that steel cage, and where is Del Rio going now? You see Benoit being scraped against the ropes, but directing traffic. Del Rio on the top, and the moonsault to the 500-pounder. Wonderful moonsault by Del Rio. And Nash and Del Rio have successfully taken out the giant. We take a look at this again. Athleticism of Del Rio. The moonsault to the Big Show. He's not the only one in trouble. The Big Show. Chris Benoit on the far side in trouble, and speared straight into the cage wall by Batista. Now he's out of it. He's on the floor, and Batista going to turn his attention. Oh, well. This is what this cage will do. Randy Orton also busted open, as Nash takes advantage of that. And now you can see cross arm breaker applied to the Big Show. Going to try and weaken the arm of the giant, and Del Rio knows he's in trouble. Oh, and he's drop kicked into the cage by Jericho. His head bouncing off of the steel. And now there's only one man left to enter, and he's going to make a huge difference. Lucha Libre, and he's brought back up. You can see the nightstick in his hand. He ain't come alone. He's come with a weapon prepared. Now locks eyes on Batista, and it's an interesting choice to be entering last. Nightstick to the gut of Batista, and a nightstick to the gut of Kevin Nash, and he's down in the ropes, and we know exactly what's going through his mind. Calls for it. Here he comes. 619 to the back of the skull of Kevin Nash. He's going to go to the top rope, but I think Del Rio and Jericho have caught his eye, and now he's going to turn his attention to him. Crossbody onto both of them. flies onto both men. And Rey Mysterio in control, but from behind, the nightstick shot straight off of the skull. And Batista now, oh no, you see the blood dripping from the head, flowing from Big Show's skull. But Randy Orton taking out the legs, and now vicious shots to the head. Randy Orton may be a bloody mess, but he's certainly giving Batista a fight, and now he's got a cookie sheet or a tray of some kind from under the ring and straight off of the skull of Batista. And Randy Orton now may be covered in blood, may be covered in a crimson mass, but that doesn't stop him from, oh, look at Batista desperately trying to get away. He's actually crawling to the top. There's no way out of it, but he's going to climb to the top of the cage regardless. And look at Rey, he's followed him too. Randy Orton and Rey, well, they're about to be pulled back down by Del Rio and Jericho, but Big Show over there now, and there's 6 guys there. And what's going to happen? Dragged down. Holy crap. Just a complete car wreck of bodies. Mangled, bloodied and battered. We knew this War Games match would take it out on them, but we didn't expect how much. Look at this. So many bodies just dropping to the floor like flies. Now Randy Orton and Batista both make it to their feet, but Randy Orton had nowhere the RKO. The RKO did the deed. But remember, the match beyond has already begun, and you can only win by submission or surrender. On the other side of the ring now, and Benoit are going to try and make Nash submit here. You've got to submit or surrender, and he might just do that now. Nash in the crossface. Is he going to submit? Is Randy Orton's team going to win? But drop kicked away by Del Rio. Gonna see if he's alright there. Nash must have been taken out of him. Del Rio even has time to pose, but you don't want to pose for too long. Rey pushing him out of the door. Jeez. All of the weight of Del Rio comes crashing through the door, and that broke the lock off its hinges. Sends the chair in, but still Del Rio and Rey are on the outside, and Del Rio has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And oh wait, where's he going? Oh jeez, he's climbing this cage. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but Rey is following him. And look at Del Rio, he's ascended to the top of this cage. Rey has followed Del Rio to the top, and Del Rio knows there's no escaping him now. Jumping clothesline onto the top of that cage. That's got to be at least 15 feet in the air, maybe more, and you see the overhead camera there. Rey in trouble now. Both men are trapped on top of that cage, and there's no way but down. Del Rio has him. Oh, but Rey reverses, and a DDT onto the steel. That is so precarious. Such a long way down, and I wouldn't be surprised if that roof gave in. Del Rio is battered, but Rey is in complete control, and Jesus. Excuse me, oh wait a minute, whoa, Del Rio, holy sh... For the love of God! Get the EMTs! He fell 19 feet! 20 feet, I don't even know, but jeez, oh my God. Benoit rushing out to help him. I'm sorry if any of you got some sick thrill out of that. But that was a man who just fell an astonishing height. And look at that sick, disgusting smile on his face. Excuse me, my voice is almost broken. Look at that. Go straight off of the cage, and you take a look again in slow motion. But Rey just goes straight through the table, and that was just, oh my God, unbelievable. And Benoit has gone out to check he's alright. I'm not even sure if he's okay. That might have ended his career, but that sick bastard, excuse my language, but you know, the smile pasted on his face, it's just disgusting. Big Show also concerned, but he's staying in the ring. He's concerned about his friend Rey, but from behind, Nash taking advantage. You gotta remember there's still a match going on, but the chair to the back, and what more can they do? Jeez, and is that a pair of handcuffs? Nash has a pair of handcuffs, and I think Benoit sees it too. And oh no, Nash has handcuffed Big Show to the ropes. So that's 2 men out of the equation. Kevin Nash, and then you see Rey Mysterio put on the stretcher and going away. Benoit first checking he's alright, and that's a decent human thing to do. He's going to try and get back in and help his friends, but oh my god. Jericho locking him out. Y2J has locked out Benoit. Big Show is handcuffed to the ropes. Rey Mysterio's out on a stretcher, and that only leaves one. Randy Orton is defenseless, and they know it, and they're going to go straight after him like a pack of wild dogs. All on him, beating the hell out of him. He's already lost a ton of blood, and now Batista's damn henchman. The Batista bomb to Randy Orton, and it may be over right now. Benoit, he's given up trying. There's no way he can get in. Big Show giving up trying to get out of those handcuffs, and now he's in the walls. It's a 3-on-1 assault. Randy Orton, he's got to tap at some point, hasn't he? And he does. With Batista straight in his face, taunting him. They've done their job. They've done what they set out to do. And they may have ended several careers here tonight. And it all started because Batista was a sore loser. I am worried about Randy Orton's health and well-being genuinely, and I'm also concerned about Rey Mysterio. That is what we expect in the War Games matchup, but I don't think we expected how severe the damage would be. Big Show was looking out for his friend, and then he got handcuffed to the ropes. Benoit tried to get in, but was locked out, and that left Randy Orton to get mauled. And eventually he just had to tap out. Otherwise he could have ended his career, and speaking of ending careers, this may have ended Rey Mysterio's. Comes falling off the War Games cage. And Batista stands over Randy Orton's lifeless body. They stand tall in the middle of the ring. They've done what they set out to do. They have destroyed Randy Orton's maybe career. Certainly Rey Mysterio may not be wrestling for a very, very long time. And you see the carnage that's been left along this arena, and how vicious can you get? Psychopathic. That's the only way I can describe the onslaught that took place here tonight. His team were victorious, and Randy Orton is doomed, it would seem. And after that astonishing matchup, we still got to remember there is a main event here to come. There you see the Phenom, The Undertaker, backstage waiting to face his opponent here tonight. That man, the game, Triple H. On metal, Triple H said he wants referee's discretion. No holds barred coming up next that's just been announced. And it will be the main event. The final two in the Rumble. The game, Triple H, goes one-on-one with the Phenom, The Undertaker. If you want to see that, subscribe. What a match it's going to be next week.